Okay, so literally, like, you have an epiphany and then your mood changes drastically. I was just vlogging myself because I was doing some shadow work and really beating myself up about, like, having to let go of a lot of people and being confused as if, like, who's right and not knowing how to protect myself and all that. And what I do, and I think what's going to work for me, is to protect myself with knowledge and understanding, because those things lead to compassion. And something that I have learned about myself, so that it is now a reflection of the people that I used to hold very near and dear to my heart, is the fact that I was constantly thinking so negatively about myself and about the world. This is kind of not dumb, but it just is what it is. But I remember when Vice like first came out, and this is gonna be like our generation's thing, and then our kids and stuff will be like, they'll either be like, you were around where Vice just came out, or they'll be like, what the fuck is Vice? But I remember when Vice first came out as a documentary series on HBO, and I was 13 years old, and I watched, like, when I tell you I literally binged watched Vice, I literally binged watched Vice at 13. And I mean, like, this is coming from a kid who's already had, like, a bunch of past trauma and abuse and all that sort of situation. And then I dove deep into, like, radical radical liberal mindset at the age of 13. So, my framework for thinking was colored, like, in horrible shades of, like, dark gray. And I there was a period of time where I was unconscious of the fact that that's what I was drawing in towards me, and then I became conscious of the fact that that's what I was drawing in towards me, but I didn't understand that it was because of me, and so I was projecting that darkness onto other people even more, and then the cycle not only continues, but goes deeper and deeper, and becomes more painful and more painful, until you grow conscious. And so now I am conscious of the way I think and the way I feel and the way I want to act and what I want to be. And I mean, well, let me rephrase that. I'm not super clear on everything I want to do in this lifetime, because I have a lot of talent and I have a lot of capabilities and a lot of drive and a lot of just a lot. Like, there's a lot within me, and it can get really intimidating sometimes, because practicing centering myself can be really tricky for me. And I just have to utilize that practice more and more on a deeper and deeper level. But so yeah, but you know, all of that being said, I am growing more conscious to the fact that, in very plain and blatant words, I have fucked up my own life. I can't really blame anyone else but me, even, like my parents or those who have done me wrong in the past. Like, I really can't blame those people. And now that I know that, I have to distance myself from people who maybe don't think about that so consciously. And the thing with that mindset, or that tidbit of knowing that we all create our own reality, I think everyone knows that as, like, words or as a phrase, right? Like, you've heard the phrase a million times, like, oh, we really create our own reality. But when you get more and more into the understanding of how energy actually works. And I don't know about anyone else, but I know for me personally, it's almost like scary. And like it's almost I get kind of fearful because I do try to work so hard to keep myself lifted and to put my faith in spirit and to work in light, and like those moments where I slip, sometimes I can slip for a really long time. Like I think people talk about it and they're super cute with it, and I sometimes I honestly get a little envious. People will be like, yeah, we all have our days, and I'm like, what days? Like we all have our months. Like sometimes I can slip into a shadow period for like months, and I think I have done a lot of work since then, so it probably won't be as difficult anymore. But I never know. Like I don't know what spirit is gonna throw to me, and I'm gonna have to work through it. Like I'm gonna have to work through the lows just as much as I have to find comfort in the highs, since I'm not used to them. But back to like creating your own reality. Oh my gosh, like some of the thoughts I would have, like I was so accustomed to having negative thoughts, and a lot of them were subconscious, and then it got to a point where like all of my subconscious became conscious. Like I'm thinking about, like, if you think about the iceberg, right, and 10% is the conscious brain and then the 90% is the subconscious, but the real percentage is like, I think it's 12 to whatever the rest is, 88, yeah, 12 to 88, math, but yeah, so like that 12% on top, I would say about like 44% of that 88 like somehow floated up too. And I don't know if anyone's experienced that in their consciousness process, but definitely let me know how it works for you guys. But yeah, that was hard, and really like seeing how hypercritical of the world I was, and how much I was constantly looking for danger. Like every step I took, it's like every step I took, I would take 3 steps backwards just to like prepare for something that could come at that next step, and then I would get at that next step and then something would come and I'd wonder why. And it's like, well, that's literally how you were moving. Like, there's no other way for energy to work if that's how you are constructing it within yourself. And it's like now I'm putting myself in a lot of healing spaces. Like I'm working with people who work in shamanism and people who work with like hypnosis and subconscious reprogramming, just because like I really have so much work to do. And I know on a personal level, like CBT has not been hitting in the ways I need it to hit, so to speak, which is another conversation. But all of that to say that I really cannot nurse people back to the origin of their souls. And I've tried to do that with maybe almost every single relationship I've had. Like, I've only had one romantic relationship, but familial relationships and platonic relationships and like all of these sorts of connections that I have tried to build in my life, they've all kind of sat on the basis of like helping someone find themselves, which is so narcissistic. And I've learned from that, and I've grown from that. And there's still work to do, obviously. I'm like a spirit, so, you know, if I'm still here for a reason. But not to say that people who aren't here anymore don't deserve to be here, but you know what I'm saying. So I just think that it's really obnoxious for me to be hard on myself, and to be hard on others, because I am. I mean, because I am like breaking away from being hypercritical and super judgmental and martyr-like. I like have had a bad habit of reflecting that onto people, because the way you treat yourself is the way you're going to treat other people. And so that's what I was working with, and that's all I knew. So yeah, I just don't feel a need to do that anymore. I'd much rather like experience someone for who they are. There's so much more peace in that. There's so much more beauty in that. There's a lot of relaxation in it. Even when it's not good, because who's to say what's good or bad, or if it's not enjoyed by me, I still have peace of mind knowing that it's not my responsibility to work in that way, and then I can just allow myself to not work in that way, even though I desperately like am itching to. I gotta back it up, because it's not my job, it's not my work, it's not it is not the way Spirit wants me to liberate myself and others, by being controlling and dominating and nitpicky. Like, why would Spirit ever want that? Like, why would that ever be the way that healing comes into play? So yeah, I guess that's, you know, really like a transverse of what I was just saying to myself. Yeah, I'm done with this video now.